way she looked back then, now more than a decade ago? Impossible. Tonterías, it seems. She was the happiest young mother as I see her in the shaky home video. Standing on our porch, the nicest on the block, I stand watching her approach and wait. The camera moves away from my face to zoom to the end of the cuadra. There, she steps out of her car, Carro del Año. Her thin frame, to my eyes, seems unfamiliar. Young, a girl in businesswoman attire. Long black hair, untangled, impossible to tangle, effortlessly cascading as she moves. My little brother, actually little, not the tower I know now, a man in teenager's garb. He clutches Luz Mari's hand and leads her forward, onward, until finally release. He runs up to meet my mother halfway. In a movement like wind through a canyon, she swoops down and lifts him up. Su cabello negro brilla como el de su hijo. Qué conjunto más bonito. I don't know how her skinny arms bear so effortlessly su gordito. There is perhaps fuel in the radiance of her smile. She's impossibly young, I say to myself, as she steps closer to the camera, into her home, the house she bought and remodeled and filled with her modest collection of owl figurines, and her placid painting of a country house she's never seen. This is what she left behind years later. There is no place in our LA apartment for her buitos, though sometimes I find one here and there, the ones I thought we lost track of when we left Nuestra Casa. She has led 2 lives, or maybe more. My brother was an infant when she lost all that weight. Thin frame, no burden on the scale. How strange it would seem to me when I've grown up fitting snugly into her soft pillow embrace, into her best pair of jeans when my cheeks were so round and full in middle school. Friends would visit her, comment on her lovely children, congratulate her on the house, demand, "Uy, sí que estás flaca." Long before the red record button came on, long before my little brother's zeal, she saw it all happen in her mind, and more. Saw me grow up, maybe look like her, heard his voice change and his laugh deepen, imagined it all without her presence. Cancer and 2 children should not have to mix. ¿Y vos por qué estás tan flaca? Traición, betrayed by the womb that had bound our lives to hers. Disease crept into the source of her strength, the core of her love, to satiate itself. Cruel, nature's gun pointed to her head, and all the while, she combed my thin hair into wiry pigtails. Chuckling, tickled my brother's belly. This is what she might have left behind. Benign, benign, almost forgettable, effaced by the meat now snug on her bones. She left it back there, with her thin frame made girlish by her toddler's form. She left it tucked into the nooks and crannies of her beautiful house, grinning, opened the empty closets of a California apartment with carpeted floors and bare walls. Sunflowers grew outside our window, though we had no garden. My grandma made humble popsicles in beaten aluminum cups, the ones she brought back from Colombia, to sell to the eager neighbors. My brother drew on the walls, mimicked the language he heard on TV, and I learned to make portrait frames out of popsicle sticks, guided by my mother's hands which, unbeknownst to me, spent hours stacking newspapers, spent days cleaning houses, spent weeks folding sweaters at the local Sears. She made it seem as easy as collecting tiny owls, as smiling wryly at ignorant questions. Overflowing with energy, she would ask me about my days at school, and more often than not, she lay on her back and balanced my brother, su gordito, on the soles of her feet. More often than not, she laughed to make the most of her wide, wide smile. More often than not, she danced with Guayacan in Puerto Rican power and kept up skillfully with my quick words, now in variable tongues. She has led 2, 3 infinite lives and borne a myriad titles behind her name. She has lived and died and returned renewed. She has always walked in through that door, a beacon that approaches, promising her arms. My brother and I, shapeshifters, buitos, antejardines, sunflowers, portable homes. We run to meet her halfway up the cuadra, to find she's already there, here. Camera or not, north or south, libras de más o menos, home already. This is what we cannot leave behind.